Welcome to the More Life Podcast, where creatives, problem solvers, and entrepreneurs talk about squeezing more out and finding meaning in this crazy thing we call life. Let's dive in. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the More Life Podcast. I'm your host. If you're new around here, I'm Bart, and today we have a special guest in the building. We're very excited to have Alejandra Rojas with us, and she is a money entrepreneur coach for entrepreneurs, a money coach for entrepreneurs. And Alejandra, please say what's up to everybody in the building, please.
Yeah, hello, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Joining us all the way from far, far away, in an undisclosed location. We don't want to say it because your stalkers might be following you, or your enemies might be trying to. I forget the terminology from that show, but it was very funny at the time. I'd love for you to explain what you do in your own words, because of course, I'm gonna butcher it, in any which way, but I think you will do a much better job.
Yeah, so the term for the Instagram and stuff is money mindset expert. What truly I am is a finance professional. So I've been my whole life in finances. I really love finances. That's a weird thing, I know, but my love language is numbers. So
Wow.
I really do finances, and then I focus on the behavior between humans, in this case entrepreneurs, business owners, in relation to money, and that happens to be called money mindset, how your mind understands concepts and behaviors with money.
I feel like this is going to be therapy for me or a intervention. It can go either way. You have a love language that I do not possess whatsoever, one bone in my body. There are some people who are good with money and numbers. I'm the person who I am willing to spend as much money as required to have somebody help me take care of the money because of the very reason of I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm called to do, and spreadsheets and numbers is not it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure you find that with a lot of different with creative entrepreneurs, where they're so talented in one thing, and yet in another thing they're just inept.
Yeah, no, and you know what is I just gave up trying to explain Excels. I have a love with Excel. Like literally part of my
Wow.
30,000 tabs are Excel tabs, Excel workbooks. I do Excel for everything. And that's part of what I do for my clients too, because I understand that it can be an object, a
Yes.
subject of pain.
Yes, and so you are yourself are an entrepreneur, so you also understand the
Yep,
plight of entrepreneurship. And on top
absolutely.
of that, you are servicing entrepreneurs, people who are self-made, but they're looking for a way to manage their finances,
Hmm.
have real articulated goals.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm selling your business to you. I want you actually to let us know what are the
Yeah.
biggest challenges that entrepreneurs are having when it comes to their managing of their money.
Yes. So you have different type of, let's say, points where people come to me, business owners come to me. First, the most common one is they want to increase income, and it hasn't been possible, even though that they are doing all the steps that is supposed to be, that as an entrepreneur you're supposed to be doing. And on top of that, they are feeling very uncomfortable with money. So because I deal with mind and with emotional side of money, a lot of financial anxiety, financial trauma, and discomfort with money is, the nitty gritty of my coaching and my business. So increasing income, better that relationship with money. The managing the part where you manage money, it has to do with your relationship with money. So a lot of people, like you describe it, avoids to manage money, but when you are a business owner, it has to be part of the conversation, because you don't have a
Absolutely.
business otherwise, right? So that's when we come around and say, okay, what is happening, um where is these things coming from, and we address the trauma that is possibly there. We address the understandings, and we see money as a 365. We don't see it just as a strategy or cash flow or numbers. We see it as the mental perspective, the emotional triggers that it can have for you, which is the trauma, financial trauma, and we put on the strategy that will work for you.
Yeah. You said so much in there already that I'm like, oh, where do we start? Where do we start? Let's start with financial trauma, because it's something that not everybody understands. I never knew I had financial trauma until I got married, and I realized that not everybody is raised the same way that I was raised. So, I'm a child of an immigrant. When I got my first job, my mom told me I get to pick which bill do I want to pay. So you want to pay for the telephone bill, or you want to pay for the hydro bill, for the electricity? Which one? You get to pick which one. Whereas, my partner never grew up in an environment like that, where the household was collective, everybody share, everybody help. At the same time, we never had financial expertise or financial planning as a major part of our upbringing. So I didn't know that there was, until I learned some stuff and had to unlearn. I learned a little bit about financial trauma and how you're supposed to plan and do all these things. I don't know if you know Dave Ramsey. We did one of his courses before, and then I realized a lot of his stuff is kind of a little bit old school and outdated. So you talk to more people, you unlearn more things, and you learn more.
Yeah.
But there is trauma if you grew up with nothing, if you grew up below average means, if you grew up low income, you have maybe a hoarder mentality. Or you have a mentality of, I might as well spend it because I'm never going to have this money ever again. That might be me. I'm still working through my trauma. So there are different sides to it. How do you approach entrepreneurs who have not yet realized that financial trauma is real and they might be involved in it?
Right. So there are so many different traumas that are already on the books of psychologists and all that. So we have 8 different disorders, financial disorders, and there is so many that we can talk about here. Now the problem is that people that come to me they don't have to be aware that they have a trauma, but by me having a conversation with you, as a professional, I need to become aware that you are responding to my questions, if you're responding from a trauma response or if you are responding from a clear space. That is going to become important, and that's what really set us apart from different financial coaches. You mentioned Dave Ramsey. I understand he's big in the industry, but a lot of his approach completely just avoids to really understand a human as a human being. As a finance professional, I understand that 1 + 1 = 2, and that if you want to keep those 2, then you don't spend more. That works great for corporations that don't have an upbringing, that doesn't they simply, it is what it is, have no emotion and no point of views. But when you are really talking about the people, the person, and when you are talking about a business owner that is constantly being triggered by the things that we have to do that nobody else taught us that we had to do. When you talk about that, you have to address the trauma. You have to understand how this person grew up, how the understandings. That's the most important part for me and my practice, is understanding that the way that you understood money is not right or wrong. That is not right or wrong here. It's just a way that you understood, and if we want to get to the point that you're telling me we want to get, then we will have to adapt some meanings and get rid of other ones that doesn't serve anymore.
That's amazing. And when you do that, you open yourself up to learn new things. I think there's many ways to do one thing, but you have to figure out the way that's going to work for you and your system.
Absolutely.
I have lots of entrepreneurial friends. They all have their own system on how they manage finances personally, in the business, overall big picture. And then I think there's also the idea that now a lot more young people are becoming more interested and savvy
Mm-hmm.
with money because they see, one, there's a lot of opportunity if you know what you're doing. Just personally in life, if you understand at a younger age what the value of compounded interest, the value of investing in a business.
Right.
You see young people now. I never knew anybody when I was, 12 and 15 years old, that age, that owned vending machines and
Right.
profitable businesses. And now they understand I can make money while I sleep. I'm going to
Yeah.
buy and invest in something and I'm going to let it work for me. So we live in a culture now that is a little bit more in tune to finances, especially at a time when the world is a lot more expensive and the world is requiring us to have more money. The lifestyle that people see online is that people are traveling, they're getting bottle service, they're going to clubs, they're going to parties, they have luxury cars and vehicles, they have nice accessories, new cell phones, all these different things. And so people are paying attention now. How do I acquire that lifestyle? Be that as it may, frivolous or not, it's not a real. I don't think it adds any value. But again,
Right.
to those young eyes that are looking, to the people who are aspiring to join the marketplace for employment, that's what they think life is. I don't know
Right.
if you've seen on TikTok or YouTube where they interview college students and they say, "How tall would you like your ideal partner to be? How old and how much
Yeah.
money?" When they say the money part,
Yeah.
everyone says like, I don't know, maybe 250,000. I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
500,000 or millionaire. And they're like, your chances of finding this person is like 0.003. It's
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah, and you know what? It all comes to again to what I do, which is understandings. The normal for us is different than the normals for the generation coming. So back in the day when money was in paper, that it was just a tool for exchange, or it was gold, or it was silver. I can imagine they have different standards back then, right? Now
Hmm.
we understand the world is gonna become expensive and expensive. It happens. It's inflation. It's how the economy, as we
Yes.
live it right now, works, right? But the people that is coming now, that is just becoming aware of a financial system and economy, that's gonna be the normal for them. So they will have another set of beliefs and values that they need
Yes.
to work on. Now, the generation, my generation, the generation that I work with, has certain set of beliefs that got us stuck in a long time ago. So really, we have to redefine that because the world is moving, the economy is moving, and you cannot stress yourself or become anxious over a fact, which is the economy is changing, so that you need to adapt yourself and innovate with your business if you want to be here for the long run.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I forget his name. I'm not gonna try to butcher it, but
Mhm.
it talks about there's two different types of people in the world. People, well, there's four real types, but the two I want to talk about is the people that are willing to accept a salary, and people that want to be a business owner. And within that, there's even more breakdowns. Of course, there's investors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the big one that people know about is I am going to accept somebody else's money and I'm going to give them my time
Yeah.
versus I want to produce the money myself or be in control of that money. So the big thing that a lot of entrepreneurs believe, or I think a downfall that I see with entrepreneurs, is they believe just because they have made the choice to become an entrepreneur, that they will
Mm-hmm.
have that entrepreneurial lifestyle, and that comes with it. And with that lifestyle, you are supposed to be X, Y, and Z. And part of the book talks about you need to understand basic financial statements. If you want to be good in any business, you have to understand a little bit about money and how money works, and about your
Yeah.
balance sheet, about your cash flow statement, and your profit and loss. You need to understand how these
Yeah.
documents work. And I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs who have yet to be able to tell me what where they can find their balance sheet, what's the
Yeah.
purpose of it, or how to use their cash flow statement, or why they know how to look at P&L to just see, am I making money or not making money? That's all they really
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
it's just very different in terms of the knowledge that younger people know versus older people know, and I want to try to elevate even my own self. Before I read that book, I was part of that younger generation. This is a 10-year-old 10 years ago when I read the book. I didn't know any of this stuff, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to learn a little bit more about how money works, so I can
Mm-hmm.
have it work for me. I want money to be my employee, to be working and going out there and working for me. But it takes effort, and I think people think that just because I choose to be entrepreneur, that means I immediately am going to be good with money, and that's not the case.
Right.
You
No.
have to be a student.
Yeah, it's not the case at all. And I tell you what, even beyond not knowing what a balance sheet or cash flow or income statement is, many business owners don't even look at their own bank account. And that is a trauma response. Avoiding to look at your bank account because you don't know how much money is in there, you don't know how much you are spending, you have an idea, but you don't know. It's a shown of a trauma response. So what happens is that you are most likely to repeat your behavior that you're having in your personal life, in your business. And we ended up with people saying, well, the business didn't work. I mean, are you sure that the business didn't work? Because I'm pretty sure that for the last 3 months, you didn't even look at your bank account, let alone all of these statements that are business statements. So it's a combination of financial literacy, for personal life, for business. Like you said, these statements are around the world are the same
Yeah.
statements. So it's like a language for people around the world to understand what is happening in your business, for you, for whoever is involved, your stakeholder. But also people need to understand that those balances are not going to do anything. Those statements are not going to do anything. They just report what is happening. Whoever needs to make the decision is you. But
Yeah.
for as long as you are on that lack mentality, like so many people call it, or for as long as you are in the mentality that money is not important, money is just like, oh, whatever, what happens, then those statements are just going to reflect like flat, like
Yeah.
nothing happens.
Yeah, the world we live in now, money is important because there's so many changes. The cycles that used to take maybe a decade to happen are happening faster and faster.
Very fast.
Very fast. It's like, hey, guess what? We're in a recession. Hey, guess what? Everything is going good. Hey, guess what? Interest rates are changing now. Hey, we're going to change interest rate again. Housing market. All these things are. It is faster than I've ever seen in my life, and I think it will continue to be fast. And the
Yeah.
people who kind of are unaffected by all of these are those who understand how to position themselves with money. It's a security blanket. It's a great way to protect yourself from what the market and the industry could do to you if you are set up the right way. Because if you put all your money in one investment, let's say into a house, and the housing market, like we saw, in Canada, it was extreme during the pandemic, where homes that were worth only six or 700,000 were being sold for $1.2 million. So if you bought at the wrong time and then the market starts to cool off by the government, injecting the interest rate, now what are you doing? Now you have a house that your loan is greater than the value of the home, and
Yeah.
you don't have any extra money. And if now on top of that, let's say inflation, which is huge here, has been starting to rise like crazy, now your money is evaporating and you don't know how to stop the bleeding. So
Yeah.
you need to know what you're doing, and I'd love to hear some of the solutions you provide for your clients. I don't know if you are like a all-in financial coach or manager, like you really get into the nitty gritty details, or if you are more a mindset coach where you kind of say, here are the practices. So talk to us about what do you
Yeah.
offer clients?
Yeah. So because my clients are entrepreneurs, just a little bit of what you said, we don't really consider, oh, this is happening on the market, this is the interest. The most important part for a business owner is to consider your customers and your clients. So it's valuable for you to know this information, not only for your personal finances, but also because you need to address what your customer objection with money is. That is the most important part. They are feeling the fear. They are really into getting sucked into all the news. And if you don't have that knowledge and if you don't have the mind, then what's going to happen is that you're not going to be able to address and overcome that rejection. So that just to complement what you said, but in the Money Mindset Hub, what we do is that we have different programs, like I said before, to increase income. And inside of that increasing income is we look at your emotional being with money, your mental health with money, and we put out the strategy that you can achieve that with your business. And that strategy, of course, includes all the terminology, financial terminology that you have to consider as a business owner, right? The other program that we have is Better Your Relationship with Money itself, and that is very specific, tailored for people that is anxious, stressed, depressed, overwhelmed by money. That is the method that I use is called the MESS method, Mindset, Emotion, and Strategy, all in a synergy. That program specifically is less strategy, more emotional release and mindset. And I do different therapies, type of therapies for that. Yeah, and it's really, I've been on finance for more than 10 years, and I love a strategy for businesses. Like, we sit down and we put a killing strategy for your business that as long as you follow it, that thing is going to work. But the moment that I introduce you to the equation and to the strategy is the moment that I run the risk of the strategy not working if I don't prepare you as the business owner. So a lot of my work is preparing you. It's shifting the understandings. Of course, this is all subconscious mind talking, which is where you store these understandings and beliefs of money. So we do a lot of that subconscious work, strategy placement, shifting of perspective, and so on and so forth until you get to your vision or your goal.
And then you provide them with an actual financial business strategy.
Exactly.
This is amazing. And so when you have people that go through this program, what are some of the things that they say after they've been done? Like after they go through, let's say, the 6 weeks, whatever it is.
The first thing is, I didn't think it was that easy. That's the first thing. Like, I didn't think it was that easy to increase my prices. You will be surprised how many people are only under earning because of their pricing. Pricing is such an underestimated topic on the industry, and it can pull all the triggers for you because you want to give discounts for your friends. It's all these things coming around on pricing. So much that I have a program just for pricing. Like, that's how much it is. It's just like a very quick program, but really addresses all the beliefs underlying beliefs. So the people when they come through, say, I didn't know it was so easy. Like, I feel much better. They live confident. They live like really knowing, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. And the most important part is that they know themselves with money. That is the most important part for myself, because strategies are gonna get old. As you grow in your business, you need to build and you need to adapt different strategy. But if you know what works for you, then it doesn't matter anymore, because you just put a different strategy and you go from there.
Absolutely. So this is absolutely a game changer. So you're not a bookkeeper, you're not an accountant trying to be in the business, but you're really trying to prepare and elevate business leaders and owners on how to prepare themselves to live in a world of successful business. And I think that's very, very valuable, especially now. There's lots of risks, as an entrepreneur that people are taking on, and you might not give yourself the best chance if you don't educate yourself. And I'm a huge fan of people learning about the things they don't know, or you hire somebody to help you learn about what you don't know. But finances is one of those things where at some point you yourself have to know, because it's not just business, it's also your personal, and how you view money really does determine a lot about how you behave and how you're going to see growth or nothing at all in your business and in your life. I've seen that as well. Alejandra, I really want to thank you for being here with us. This has been an amazing episode, so insightful. I'd love for you to let us know, where can people find you? Where can they get information about your programs and your courses?
Yes, and thank you for having me. Listen, the best way to find me is if you go to themoneymindset.hub.com, and then you see all of my programs and you see where we're up to at the moment. And if you want to just say hi, go to Instagram is the best place, Money Mindset Expert, and then I probably spend a lot of time there.
This has been the More Life Podcast. I've been Bart. Peace out.